Most of these vendors have 2 or 3 products, and it's kind of always going through that. And we simply don't. We have one, and it's beautiful. And to the extent we always keep that focus, and not get distracted with multiple products or things, multiple WMSs, I think that creates clear differentiation for us. Yeah, it's huge. It's about focus, right? I think about it, and it's kind of ironic because in previous lives we had multiple WMSs we were dealing with, and we always you look for how you get leverage across WMS. You're looking at, oh, I'll verticalize it. I'll have one that's focused on this segment of verticals, and one that whether is here's your CPG product, here's your high tech electronic serialized product, here's this, um, and the reality is you have 65% of common functionality, and then you have all of this other uniqueness across, and the boundaries. The problem is operations don't fit like nicely into those vertical boundaries, and so you are always in this this tug of war between which product do I put it in, which do I put it in both products. Customer really likes these aspects over in this product versus this. And you got 2 or 3 products. Most of these vendors have 2 or 3 products, and it's kind of always going through that. And we simply don't. We have one, and it's beautiful. And to the extent we always keep that focus, and not get distracted with multiple products or things, multiple WMSs, I think that creates clear differentiation for us, because everything we do goes into that product's available for everybody.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that is, like, if you think about the cradle to grave process of, like, aspiring to own, effective WMS and then living with it and, that sort of thing. What happens sometimes is that you go through the sales process and you do this, and then the WMS company is not presenting you with as much the WMS that you might need in the future as the WMS they can sell you right now. And so I think that what happens with that is that, sometimes there's a question about, like, which WMS are we looking at? And with us, whether you're starting with a small number of users in a traditional, application approach where you don't have automation, going up to the most automated systems in the world, we have one approach to that, right? And it scales, right? We were first of the cloud. It's all cloud based. We actually have elements that can be, from an integration perspective, that can be on prem, which is very unique for us. So you could have a small set of integrations that are on prem because of maybe they talk to PLCs, or maybe they're doing goods to person or something like that. That is on prem, and that on-prem hybrid approach. So we have the abilities to go from, like I said, from very small all the way up to the most intricate, systems in the world, and that's a unique perspective. And going back to the cradle to grave, we're always going to be talking about just that. Like, what's best for you is what we have. We're not trying to say what best for you might be this thing, but we think we can tell you this thing, so we're going to aim at this thing. And it's a different approach all the way from aspirational to execution.
And historically, we haven't really gone for those the level 1, level 2, the simplistic warehouses. We have them installed because 3PL customers have taken and said, oh, I'm going to go after all these small facilities. I'll use your solution in a pre-configured wizard, boom, done. Or some of our end shipper customers say, I've got these 5 main facilities, but then I got 50 little depots, and I want to run this in the depots. We're like, great, we love that. That's a great way to go. To date, we haven't really gone down market and said we're going to go after those. We could if we chose to, but right now it's just a benefit of the one WMS function.
Right, because you're exactly right. Organization by geo, right, or by targeted market. We have a customer that has elements in Korea and all these smaller places where they just want to use the same platform as the rest of the system, right? But it's a much smaller site. They might have a backroom site or something like that. And, being able to scale down to that and really fit, because we were multi-site within our cloud. You can have multiple sites, and you can have just one instance that has multiple sites, and some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. It just allows us to have that scale and have one platform that you can have all those on, as opposed to, oh, you have this Tinker Toy version of. I Tinker Toy is still a thing. Do people know what that means? No, I don't think so. No,
Probably not.
yeah, I don't know what I don't know what they and now, yeah. Well, Legos are cool though, because you got this, Star Wars Legos and things like that. And cool, but anyway, so you got that small sort of approach, uh, and then that is a separate set of infrastructure, a separate thing, a separate integrations, for your backroom stuff. And then you have your big old, wholesale or a DTC, place, fully automated, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to have those split, right? Because of economics or deployment concerns, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something, even though we actively don't try to go sell it that way, we can demonstrate it and show customers and that from the smallest,
Well, it's a
least
real life
complex,
customer problem.
yeah,
It's a real life
all
problem.
all the way up to the most complex. And part of the value proposition is when there are, because there's plenty of smaller vendors, level 2, level 3, WMS vendors out there, and they sometimes end up giving us business because they'll get a customer, the customer grows to a certain size, and it really stresses the functional capabilities, some of the sophistication of those applications, and then those customers come to us, which is fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and even with with the advancements in Omni, you might have a situation where you're gonna deploy into small backroom situations more, right? And you don't want to have a separate, set of instances and separate. You can, with our approach of the one warehouse, you could put those one WMS,
All
and put
together.
those all together in one, and have the same visibility and all the rest of the things that come with having a one platform approach, and just be nimble about deployment, right? To go, so that's more of a deployment question than a technology question, I guess it comes down to,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, one of my favorite stories from our customer base is, we've got an apparel customer that has a level 4 facility, pretty automated, a high volume facility, used and opened up an overseas facility in the UK, kind of a level 2, more manual, and did it themselves. Talk about enablement, but just the ability to be able to do that is super unique in our industry.
Yeah, that goes to, what we've done is created some of the additional infrastructure to be able to copy elements of our configurations over. So if you have a smaller system, you might just say, okay, I'm going to do this kind of put away, or just do undirected put away, or this, I'm only going to use these two picking techniques, right? And then you can just say, okay, bing, bing, I want to select those, create a new instance for that, create a new warehouse for that, and you can start, validation. I think that approach, um, just in our heritage of working with 3PLs and stuff, the complications of opening up new buildings, or just parts of a building that run a different business, that, we create a lot of infrastructure around how to do that more quickly. It then allows, more traditional non-3PL customers to say, hey, I'm going to open this spot in, somewhere, out east, or, you know, um, in the UK or wherever, and it's going to start small, and then we're to build it out, and it allows you to take those stair-steppy approaches. So,
Yep. I think we touched upon that earlier, a different episode where we talk about the benefits to shippers from our 3PL heritage and all of the work we put in. So
yeah.
that's a great example of, if I don't have that, I just simply don't have it. And you're not
Yeah.
enabling your customers to say, oh, I'm going to go open up a small site in the UK. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's just a matter of
It's a benefit.
yeah.
here.
If you don't have that in your DNA, right, creating a new warehouse, creating a new site or whatever is just an onerous proposition. So, because it's a little bit more in our DNA, whether you're a 3PL or a, a contract site, or just a logo, just a business, right? You could take advantage of all those capabilities.